Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear brothers, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "Give the fara'id, the Quranically defined shares of the inheritance, to those who are entitled to. The rest of the money should then be given to the deceased's closest male cousin." Have you ever wondered about how your property and money will be split up among your family and friends after you die? One of the most important and sometimes difficult parts of life is figuring out how to share our wealth. But have you thought about how Islamic law sees and deals with this? In Islam, the law of inheritance is more than just a legal requirement. It's an important part of faith and family life. Based on the lessons of the Quran and the Hadith, this system is a one-of-a-kind and complicated way to make sure that inheritance is shared fairly and justly. Why is this subject so important? It's not just for Muslims, it's for anyone who wants to learn more about the complex web of Islamic law and culture as a whole. If you understand the Islamic rule of inheritance, you can better understand the core Islamic values of fairness, responsibility, and justice. It also gives us a look into a law system that has had an impact on society for hundreds of years. If you're an active Muslim, interested in Islamic law, or just want to learn more about how different cultures handle important events in life, this trip through the Islamic Law of Inheritance will teach you a lot. Come with us as we peel back the layers of this interesting part of Islamic law and look at its principles, effects, and how they apply to the modern world. The basics of Islamic Law of Inheritance. Fara'id, the Islamic rule of inheritance, has its roots in the Quran. Verse like Surah An-Nisa 4:11-12, 176, set the stage by describing specific roles for children. This divine direction makes sure that wealth is shared fairly, which is in line with the fairness and compassion that are central to Islamic teachings. These laws are based on a few important ideas. First, there are the set shares, which are also called fara'id. These are set amounts of the fortune that are given to family members like spouses, parents, and children. The Quran carefully spells out these shares, making sure that every qualified heir gets their fair share. Another important idea is asaba, which means agnatic heirs. Most of the time, these are male cousins who act as residual heirs. They get the rest of the estate after the set shares are given out. This protects the financial stability of the family lineage. Then there's the issue of wills, or wasiya. Even though the Islamic system of inheritance is mostly set in stone, a Muslim can leave up to a third of their wealth to people who are not their heirs, or to charity in their will. This shows their wishes and the Islamic spirit of generosity. It's also important to know the different types of children. Usually they can be broken down into three groups: main, secondary, and residual. Main relatives, like spouses and children, get a set amount of the farm. If there are no main heirs, secondary heirs, such as siblings, may inherit. As was already said, the leftover heirs are usually asaba, who get any money that is left over. This is how Islamic law tries to make sure that wealth is shared fairly, that arguments don't happen, and that the rights of the weakest people are protected. How do these ideas work out in the real world, though? In the next section, let's look at this with some examples. Think about a family like this one that is dealing with the death of a loved one. Even though they are sad, they have to decide how to split the fortune. What does Islamic law say about this tricky situation? Let's think about some real-life examples. In one family, for example, a father who has died leaves behind a wife, 2 girls, and a son. According to Islamic law, the estate is split into specific shares. The wife gets 1/8, each daughter gets 1/8, and the son gets the rest, which is equal to the shares of 2 girls. But what happens when things get trickier? Let's say there are no direct heirs, like children or your partner. In this case, the estate could go to secondary heirs like siblings, or even to residual heirs like male cousins who live a long way away. This keeps the money in the family. Another interesting situation comes up with families of different religions. Under Islamic rule, heirs who are not Muslims are not allowed to get inheritance. In a will, a Muslim can give up to a third of their wealth to family members who are not Muslim. This strikes a balance between religious law and family ties. How these laws are applied has changed over hundreds of years to fit different Islamic cultural and social situations. The ideas of justice and fairness have always been at the heart of Islamic law, from the time of the caliphates to modern Islamic countries. This shows how Islamic law is always changing. These stories not only show how Islamic inheritance laws can be used in real life, but they also show how important they are in modern Islamic societies. These rules give us a structured but caring way to deal with one of life's most sensitive issues as we try to figure out what life and death are all about. Now that our study of the Islamic law of inheritance is over, let's take a moment to think about what we've learned. It's been a trip through the basic Quranic verses that support these laws, the main ideas behind fixed shares, asaba, and wills, and different real-life examples that show how these laws work. From understanding the meticulous distribution of shares to recognizing the adaptability and fairness inherent in these laws, we've seen how Islamic inheritance not only dictates the division of wealth, but also embodies the deep values of justice, family unity, and compassion. This makes us wonder, though, how do these old laws apply to our lives now? How do they change the way we think about money, family, and our duties to each other? Many tools are available for those who want to learn more. For more information, read The Islamic Law of Inheritance by Dr. Hamid Khan. Visit Islamic Inheritance. Come or listen to well-known experts like Dr. Yusuf Al-Qaradawi. Working with these kinds of things can help us learn more about and appreciate this complicated part of Islamic law. We want you to keep going on this journey of learning. Talk to other people, learn as much as you can, and think about how these timeless rules apply to your own lives. Remember that in Islam, seeking information is a good thing to do, and understanding the law of inheritance is not only necessary for the law, but also a way to make our societies more fair and caring. Thank you for coming along on this interesting journey with us. May this information not only help you on your journey of faith and learning, but also inspire you